this onslaught against the Second Amendment. Places like Deerfield, Illinois, and other towns are trying to push ordinance to go after the Second Amendment, and we got gun groups fighting it, NRA fighting it, the ACLU here in Rhode Island trying to fight these draconian bills as well. And on the phone, Congressional candidate Salvatore Caiozzo running for District 2 here in Rhode Island against incumbent Jim Landry. And Sal, if you want to take a couple minutes here, just tell people how they can get a hold of you, where your website is, and what they could do to help you out.
Well, that's easy. It's RhodyFirst.com, spelled RHODY.com, first.com, I'm sorry. And they can also find me on Facebook or Twitter at Sal for Congress.
And what could people do to help you out with your campaign?
Look, you know, the thing of all evils, of course, is money. And if so, please come onto the site. There's a donate button there. Donate whatever you can. Doesn't have to be a lot. It is a federal race that we're doing, and it's unfortunate that we need money. I hate that thought of it. I really do. But you got to have money to do whatever you got to do, I guess. But I will promise you that I will spend it frugally, and that I am here to fight for every single one of you.
Absolutely.
So,
you've been spending your own money.
I need you to invest in me.
And you've been spending your own money for your campaign and reaching out to the fishermen and just all the veterans as well, helping the homeless people out. You fought against the RIP the thing of them jacking the rates for the disabled people who are on fixed incomes, and you've done a lot of stuff. You really have, and you're a Second Amendment pro-gun rights advocate, and I mean, you're doing a lot of good things here in Rhode Island, and hopefully it's going to pay off either way. Win or lose, it's still a victory. So, and so I want to wish you best of luck, and if you want any closing comments, again, your website one more time.
RhodyFirst.com.
Awesome.
Again, RhodyFirst.com. There's also a volunteer button there, too, anybody who wants to volunteer, because we definitely are doing this quite, grassroots. There's going to be a lot of walking, a lot of knocking on doors. We're going to take this personally. We're going to take this to the people.
Absolutely, and yeah, exactly. And anybody wants to help him out, go to his website, RhodyFirst.com. We're going to link the website on the video here, and I'm going to be doing a video for YouTube as well, so we're going to have the links on that as well. Anyway, Sal, thank you for your time, and keep up the great work, and we'll have you on as the elections heat up here.
All right, talk to you later.
Yeah, take care. And the next segment, we're going to have, after the break, after this segment here, we're going to have Daniel Guilmette calling in to, I don't know if you tried calling in, Danielle. If you did, just wait till the next segment. We'll go on break, then give us a call in, because we had to switch, because Sal had to go to a meeting, so we had to switch the time slots. But Daniel Guilmette, he's first district, candidate for Congress, running against the other gun grabber, David Cicilline. Sal's running against the other gun grabber, Jim Landry. So we got two patriots running against two tyrants, and that's exactly how it's going to. But anyway, we got a lot of news here. I want to cover quick. I mean, this is unreal. Some of this is old news, about a week old or so, but this is big time. This is war, folks. I mean, I'm not going to sugarcoat nothing. This is an all-out attack on this country. I mean, in this country in general. I'm talking about the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, you, the American people. Even you people out there who support gun control, you have no idea that these people want you dead too. They want you in chains, okay? That's what it's about. Gun control is nothing more than controlling the population. And that's exactly how it's been put. 1900s, and the thing is, people could throw stats left and right. Stats don't matter. Okay, because most of those stats are all falsified in the first place. But when you go to history alone, okay, in the 1900s, if hundreds of millions, not thousands, hundreds of millions of people died by the hands of their own governments when they gave up their gun rights, if that doesn't disturb you at all, okay, you should just move to North Korea, China, or somewhere else. Okay, and yeah, nobody wants a Wild West. Nobody wants shootings going on all over the place. And as a gun owner, I would never want to shoot another human being, but I would rather have a gun to protect myself. And the number one reason for the Second Amendment is to protect ourselves. We got a caller on the line here, and caller, go ahead. You're on the air.
Yeah, I was just wondering what you thought about the assault gun ban in Massachusetts.
Yeah, it's draconian. I was actually going to bring that up in the news. The Massachusetts judge says the Second Amendment doesn't involve AR-15s and all that, and these people are insane. And it's if they left it up to the people, they know they would lose. So you have these people pushing these bans, then corrupt judges saying, "Oh, it's."
Why do you say that though? Massachusetts is a very liberal state.
Well, the thing is, it's a facade. I mean, the mainstream media and all that. There might be a lot of liberals, but here in Rhode Island, a lot of Democrats do support the Second Amendment too. So, I mean, I guarantee the majority of Massachusetts would all get behind the Second Amendment. But the thing is, the gun ban itself is unconstitutional, and it's 100% unconstitutional. And the people of Massachusetts need to stand up against it.
Well, that's not necessarily true. A blanket ban is unconstitutional. But with the Second Amendment being written, it provides for a well-regulated militia.
Well, first of all, if you want to, you got to talk the language of that time. Now, a well-regulated militia, okay, doesn't mean military. Well, Thomas Jefferson said it. George Washington defined it. James Madison defined it. What the militia was, it was the people. The militia consists of the people, not the National Guard, not the military, not the police. It's the people, me, you, and everybody else. The people. And the number one reason for the Second Amendment is to defend ourselves against a tyrannical government if our government was to become rogue. Because there's a lot of language nowadays that mean different things. But if you step back in time, what well-regulated meant, and actually the first time when they presented the Second Amendment, it was written a little bit different. And it actually expressed how the people are the militia. The people, the regular people, store clerks, and so on, were all the militia. And it says for the people's right to keep and bear arms.
As long as the people are the militia, as long as the people are well-regulated.
Well-regulated meant, in other words, we're there for a reason, okay? Like, you put a group together, militia, okay? We're there, we train and everything else. You put it there to defend this country if the time ever got called. That's what that actually means. Well-regulated doesn't mean the state controls you or the government controls you.
All right. So in order for a militia, say like a state militia for Massachusetts, in order for that to be a well-regulated militia, what would gun owners have to do in order to be part of a well-regulated militia as defined in the Second Amendment of the Constitution?
Well, the militias are the people, and today everything's been misconstrued, and the people have yourself, your neighbors, and all that. You can form a militia, and the militia is well-regulated means that's organized. That's all that means. It's organized. It's not controlled at all by the government or the state, because that's who we're trying to protect ourselves against from that kind of power. So we put the power within the people to be well-organized and well-regulated. But if you want to hang out 1 second, we got to go to a break. And we'll be right back with Daniel Guilmette after this call here. Okay, welcome back to the Dan Bidondi Show, and we're going to get to Daniel Guilmette in just a minute. He's going to be calling in congressional candidate, but we're going to call on the line asking about the militias. And, sir, you still there? Hi, caller, you still there? I guess not. Anyway, I guess he was calling to ask what a well-regulated militia meant. Now, people think well-regulated means it's got to be controlled by government or state, because that's what the mindset's set. But James Madison, Thomas Jefferson, tons of stuff from George Washington, and all the other founding fathers, they specified, with language, okay, they specify what the militia was. Now, I actually wanted to print it up because when the Second Amendment was presented in Congress, okay, it was written where it says a well-regulated militia. It was specified the people making up a well-regulated militia. And the final draft of the Second Amendment is what it is today. But well-regulated means organized. That's all it means. It doesn't mean it's controlled by the state or government. And not at all, because that's who we were protecting ourselves from, a state power or the government power. That's what the Second Amendment's for. So for people to say, oh, it's for the National Guard, no. National Guard wasn't even around until about 150 years later. And no, it doesn't pertain to the National Guard. It doesn't pertain to the police departments. It doesn't pertain to our military. It pertains, the militia is the people. Me, you, everybody else that, and again, well-regulated means organized. That plain and simple. Like, you know, you set up a militia, you got your armory. Basically, if in time of need, everybody goes to get the armory, you know, the arms and everything else. And it means well organized. Everybody has a plan, led by a couple people. Everybody knows what they're doing, well trained and everything else. That's what it means. It doesn't mean government or state controlled or city controlled. It means controlled by the people. Vividly expressed in detail by the founders. And so we're going to be waiting for Daniel Guilmette to give us a call. He's a candidate for District 1 of Rhode Island, running against Congressman David Cicilline. And David Cicilline is the one to put out that draconian federal bill to ban all assault rifles, is what they call. And all assault rifles, and he wants to take out high-capacity magazines and make this a national ban. Which you can't do this because, all right, just to say, let me define this, okay? Just to say, every state in the country says, all right, we're going to go to total gun ban. The federal government says they're going to go to total gun ban. They can't do that. They could push it, but the Constitution overrides that. The Constitution trumps that law, and it gives the asserted power to the people, not the government. Now, when the government says, oh, we're going to make a law that is repugnant to the Constitution, that law automatically becomes null and void. Those authorities automatically become the criminals. And as plain says out, you know, we who have the the power to do something about it, to do it, to overthrow these guards and provide new guards for our future. That's the language of the Founding Fathers. And if anybody out there thinks I'm a stream, you have no idea. If the Founding Fathers came alive today, the way things are now, okay, if the Founding Fathers came alive today, bet your ass there would be a full-blown out revolution tomorrow, and by the end of the week, 80% and 90% of politicians in this country will be hanging at the end of a rope. Make no mistake about that. No mistake about that at all. So if you think I'm extreme the way I talk, you have no idea what the Founding Fathers would do. That's why we had a strong country up until now. That's why this country was impregnable, because of people with the spirit of God and liberty and justice in them, the people who had balls of steel. And people out there have lost that. They become, back then it was iron men and wooden ships. Now today you got wooden pussy men, little pansies, feminist men, and iron ships. That most guys out there are just a bunch of pansies, plain and simple. Yeah, it's disgusting, it really is. And this country's going to hell in a handbasket. This whole world is. But patriots are coming out. The good side of that, the patriots are coming out of that. People are rising up, and we have well more than 3% than we had in the 1700s. But it's just ridiculous. And the callers talk about the Massachusetts gun ban. They put a total ban on assault weapons, what they call assault, which are they're nothing more than rifles with a nice dress on it. That's all they are. And the AR-15, oh, it's such a bad weapon. I own an AR-15. It leaves the size of a .22 bullet. That's what, when you see hit the target, it leaves a small little hole the size of a .22 bullet. My .40 caliber could do more damage than the AR-15. And, you know what I mean? Like, these people do not know nothing about guns who put these propaganda videos out. They probably haven't even fired a shot in their whole life. Let alone know what the hell, they call them fully semi-automatics. There's no such thing as a fully semi-automatic. And, they say, 33,000 people, die from guns. Oh, yeah, that's true. Most of that is from suicides and people, like criminals, killing people, and cops second is the cops killing criminals, rightfully so, and a very extreme small percent is from accidental gun deaths. Never near as law-abiding citizens shooting and killing innocent people. So we got Daniel Guilmette on the phone. He's a congressional candidate for District 1 of Rhode Island against the slave master, the king of the New World Order. He's pushing his draconian gun bills to take our gun. David Cicilline. But Daniel Guilmette, how you doing, brother?
I'm doing great, Dan. How you been?
Oh, great. And it was nice to see you today at the State House, man. Like, you were there early and one of the last ones to leave. And, you're a hardcore brother, and you're there for the people's rights.
Absolutely. You know what? It was awesome seeing you there, as always. Fighting for our rights and voicing what what needs to get done, and and fighting for what we believe in, and fighting for our country. It was amazing again to see the passionate people come out. There's people on both sides that are very passionate, but again, we had waves of patriots come out today, and fighting to protect our Second Amendment and virtually every single right. As you know, the Second Amendment is there to protect everything else. So,
absolutely,
with the Second Amendment gone, well, you can kiss everything else goodbye.
Oh yeah, it's you know what I mean? Like, with Second Amendment's gone, liberty dies, plain and simple. And that's what they're trying to do. And as you can see, because me and you talk all the time, how the onslaught all over the country. I mean, Deerfield, Boulder, Colorado, Massachusetts now, just pushing town ordinance, statewide bans, and corrupt judges backing and saying as the Second Amendment is not violated by pushing semi-automatic bans. I hate saying assault rifles because we know there's no such thing as an assault rifle. And,
there isn't. There isn't. Yeah, there is no assault. There is no such thing as assault rifle. I mean, you could pick up anything as a weapon, whether it be a hammer, knife. I mean, even as simple as a pen. Anything can, become an assault weapon. So there is no such thing. And when you ask these people, they have no idea. They have no idea. And it's our job to come at them with humility and respect, and to try and teach them first and foremost. Unfortunately, a lot of them don't want to listen. But this is what our main objective is: not just to fight for our Bill of Rights and our constitutional principles and values, but we have this new obligation to educate the people, and so that's the biggest challenge, I think, too.
It is, and it was great to see a lot of kids there too. They brought the kids out, and I was talking to a lot of the kids, and they were there saying like they're helping, educate their fellow students in school about the importance of gun rights. And so here's the whole thing: it's all breaking down. These people attacking gun rights, they're putting their own foot in their mouths. There's lying. Their whole system's breaking down. And I mean, like, as you can see all over the country, and everything's just starting to crumble for them. Even though they're pushing bans, but their whole system's crumbling before. And come to find out, David Hogg wasn't even at school that day when the shooting took place. And I mean, like, the whole thing is this is a total onslaught against the Second Amendment, which is a communist agenda to disarm us, as we all know, to push global governance. And now you're running against, the David Cicilline, the congressman he's trying to push that nationwide gun ban that completely takes all semi-automatics away and all high-capacity magazines away. Now, if you got in this Congress, I mean, what would you do as a congressman to help the Second Amendment?
Well, I mean, let's say his bill does pass, okay, before the election. If I am able to get into office, my first and foremost thing is to protect the Bill of Rights and to preserve the Constitution. I shouldn't even say that so much, because there are some amendments in the Constitution that I don't agree with. I believe it's the 16th Amendment that holds the IRS and such things like that I just don't agree with.
Yeah.
However, my first and foremost, if that is passed, I will fight like hell to reverse that. Absolutely. Any bill that infringes on our rights, okay, I will fight tooth and nail to reverse. Listen, when I came into this, I didn't know too much about any real politician actually in the state of Rhode Island. I was one of those quiet ones, didn't know much about him. From what I've seen from him thus far, okay, he does not represent not only District 1, but does not represent Rhode Island. Okay, he totally disrespects us as far as what he puts forth, what he stands for. I mean, let's face it, the guy, we understand, he doesn't like the President of the United States. Not a lot of people do now. A lot of Republicans do. That's fine. But you're not just going to stand up behind a podium and bash that man every single time you're up there. What's your plan? And clearly his plan is to totally rid the Second Amendment, piece by piece. He's not going to tell you that. If you ask him, he's going to say, oh, no, that's not the plan. But of course we know that's the plan. That's what he's doing. Because in his gun bill, not only does he list magazines and rifles that they deem assault weapons, but he has, I mean, hundreds of firearms. I mean, these are just everyday, ordinary firearms. There's nothing special about them, nothing high-powered about them. I mean, the man's just totally a gun grabber. I will fight tooth and nail to preserve and protect the sacred Bill of Rights that we have. You know, Dan, you know it as well as anybody else. These people, okay, that want to rid the Second Amendment especially, they don't understand what it's like to live in another country that doesn't have these rights. Let's face it, they don't want to live in another country. Trust me when I say, they do not want to live in another country that doesn't have these rights. That is the scary thing about it. So everybody is damn, you know, I will promise everybody, okay, I can't promise that I will win an election. I'll never promise that. But I will always promise to fight for the people of Rhode Island and everybody in this country, no matter what their views are, to protect their rights, to protect the Bill of Rights, and protect individual sovereignty. That is highly important to me.
Absolutely, and you're doing a good job, man, because every time we have a rally or something there, you're always there, and you know, you're always coming out to support our constitutional rights every time they're under threat. And as you see, we, you know, from the tyrants they call politicians in our own state, you know, we have the Senate, have to the state reps, I mean, our governor, I mean, they don't care about us. They don't care about our rights and nothing. All they care about is control and pushing a communist agenda down our throats. And I'm just happy as people like you, Sal, and people who are state senators right now, like Bobby Notarillo, Justin Price, Blake Filippi, and them, Sherry Roberts, who fight for our rights all the time. And but we need more, and that's why we need people out there to run for office. And Daniel, you know, like, you're like a true patriot, man, and I hope and pray that you can win this thing. And but if you don't, keep trying. That's all, because resistance on its own, it's victory, and you just got to keep pushing at it. And how could people get a hold of you?
Well, right now, you know, we're still kind of, you know, getting things going here in the campaign. Just to let everybody know, obviously, I don't have a shiny bank account and backdoor deals that I'm getting money, you know, through. Like, you know, like Cicilline and all those politicians, but you know, we're slowly getting going through here. So I'm big on the social media. So I have two Facebook accounts, one personal, one fan page. Both Daniel J. Guilmette, sounds like Gillette, but it's Guilmette, Guilmette. My personal page has a parentheses DJ at the end of it, so you can reach me on that. I'm on Instagram, also Daniel J. Guilmette. I'm on Twitter at Dan J. Guilmette. I love roasting people on Twitter. It's kind of fun. And they can see my website, which I add things and subtract things pretty much on a weekly basis, at djforcongress.com. So, you know, people can... and they can also email me at djfor2018@gmail.com. And again, you know, if I don't respond right away, usually takes me maybe just a few minutes or an hour or so, but they can message me at any time. I'm open to answer anything, especially if I'm not attacked at first. But, you know, I'm very easy to talk to. I want to listen to everybody. I'm a human. I'm not a politician. I'm not a robot. You know, I'm not perfect. You know, so I answer everything to the best of my ability. You know, a little bit about me, I guess, just for a short thing. You know, I've grown up in a very tough situation as far as, you know, family wise. You know, my family was always split, so I grew up in a very tough atmosphere. So I know what a lot of kids going through today, and I know what their pain is. Exactly. Not everybody knows what everybody is going through, but I understand a lot of different issues. Okay. I had a problem with alcohol before. I was homeless for a very short time, so I understand a lot of issues. Okay, I myself was probably at the bottom of the barrel many times, but people have to find a strength within themselves. Okay, people have to find a strength within themselves, and how does that connect to, you know, what we have to do to right this country or right this state first.
Absolutely.
You know,
hey, can I hold you?
You have to.
Can I hold you for 1 minute, brother? I gotta go to a break.
Sure, sure.
All right, we'll see you on the other side, and just stay right there. We'll be right back on the Dan Bidondi Show for our final segment. Okay, we are on our final segment here on 990WBOB.com, the Dan Bidondi Show, and on the phone, Congressional candidate for District 1 of Rhode Island against the gun-grabbing, Constitution-hating David Cicilline, Danielle Guilmette.
How we doing?
Oh, good. Thanks for hanging in there, man. And yeah, you were saying how you grew up in a tough life, and yeah, I mean, a lot of us, especially, we call ourselves blue collar people. You know what I mean? We know how it is to struggle. We make mistakes. We know how to rebel. You know, recuperate from them and move on, like you did too. And now you've seen life, you experienced life, and you know the mistakes you made. And you learn from them instead of repeating them. Now you decided that, hey, you know what? I want to make a difference in society. I'm going to put myself out there as a public servant to run to try to save this country. And that alone, brother, deserves recognition on its own.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I thank you very much for that. You know, when I took this challenge on, I mean, obviously, I'm not a politician, so I come off sometimes very brash in maybe my beliefs or you know, how I say things. When I first started out, I've had to learn very quickly how to come at things more, you know, more with humility and try to be as humble as I possibly can. You know, nobody's perfect. A lot of people have asked me, you know, where I stand on things, and listen, the biggest thing that we have to do as a people, okay, we have to have a person-to-person dialogue, whether it be on the phone or face-to-face. Okay, the biggest thing that is causing a lot of issues and a lot of tension is the social media. You know, and this push to make everybody just communicate over online. And this is the thing, and I'm sure you found this too at some of these rallies. People on the other side, whatever side that may be, you know, it's much easier to sometimes talk to them face to face, you know, instead of, you know, having each other attack each other on Facebook or wherever else on social media. So I've learned very quickly that, you know, we have to come at things, you know, very very softly, you know, with a soft tone, not to attack each other right out in the open. You know, I've learned with I guess with my self experiences growing up, I've matured a lot. But I'm no angel, I'm no perfect boy, no poster boy for anything. I'm just a regular Joe Schmo that that I just want to fight for the regular Rhode Islander. I think that's important. We need a human, not a robot. We need a congressman that really fights for everyday Rhode Island issues. You know, we want involved with Rhode Island and not just taking a vacation for 3/4 of the year, or not, you know, or just misrepresenting us. We want somebody that knows what Rhode Islanders are going through, that will fight for. One of my biggest things is we may not be able to stop the high rise of living, but maybe we can, you know, stop the bleeding of it. And that's what I want to do, you know, stopping the tolls, getting rid of the cash cans. You know, those are two things right off the bat that we can do to help, you know, not kill everybody, you know, in their pockets. So, you know, I understand what everybody is going through at some level or at some point. So that's, you know, anybody can ask me questions. You know, again, through Facebook, anybody, I might get a phone so somebody can, you know, some people can call me. But I am very open, very willing to talk to people.
Awesome, and we're going to have you back on as the elections heat up, and because I know things are going to get nitty-gritty, and David Cicilline loves nothing to do but attack his opponents and anybody he doesn't agree with, and so we could only... He just
doesn't like to listen. He just doesn't like to listen, as we saw him sign that bill. He just doesn't like to listen.
You know what's funny?
He's going to do what he feels as though is best. You know, he's a trendy. He follows what the progressive narrative is.
him and Langevin, they put on, remember that whole sit-out thing in Congress? Well, anyway, he came to Rhode Island. He was at the safety complex in Providence. He had people come down to support gun control last year. It was a year ago or 2 years ago, whatever it was. But anyway, he was basically had a sit-in and sit down and to protest guns. And so anyway, I go there and he's speaking. Then when I ask questions, real questions, and all of a sudden the sit-down's over, because they couldn't answer the questions right, and he beats around the bush and tries to get all passionate and everything about it, but he never answered the question directly, and end up, just shutting the whole thing down. Again, you ask real questions, people like look dumbfounded, and they walk away. You know what I mean? And it's like David Cicilline ever since he was mayor of Providence. I mean, like, he's been part of election fraud. I mean, like, he used I think it was from the Dominican Republic. He was using that people as registered voters here in Rhode Island that abandoned lots and everything else. He's backed by the Council on Foreign Relations, the same criminal globalist organization that backs Gina Raimondo. I mean, these people are globalists, folks. Even though they're from here, whatever, but they are globalists, and they have globalist agendas in mind. And somebody like David Cicilline would destroy the Bill of Rights if he had the chance. But we got about 2 minutes left, so if you want to finish up real quick, again, put your website out there and how people can get a hold of you.
Sure, yeah. Again, website is djforcongress.com. And then they can reach me over my 2 Facebook sites, one fan page, one personal, at Daniel J. Guilmette. And I'm on Instagram. Same name. I'm on Twitter at Dan J. Guilmette. And again, the biggest thing that people have to understand, let's stop the talk of politics and get down to the real issues.
Exactly.
Politics divide us. Let's start talking. Because when we keep on getting divided, we can't get everything done. So
exactly.
That's what I'm for. Personal liberties and personal freedoms and sovereignty. We need Rhode Island to have another voice. We want Rhode Island to be that anchor again like it used to be.
Absolutely. And thank you, Dan. We'll be in touch, man. And God bless you, brother.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much for having me on, and God bless.
God bless. And that was Daniel Guilmette. He's running for Congress, and Salvatore Caiozzo running for Congress. Thank you guys for coming on. I'm going to have a lot more politicians and candidates coming on. But, folks, this country's under severe attack. They're going all haywire to try to destroy the Second Amendment. And even though the mainstream media and what they're saying is that the majority, they're not. Even kids in Parkland, the school, this Kyle Kosoff, he was David Hogg's classmate that's trying to call him out in his bull crap. And, you know what I mean? Like, a lot of the kids in that school do support the Second Amendment. And you go everywhere, half the school at least supports the Second Amendment. But, folks, we need to keep fighting, keep resisting. And remember, we are on the right side of history. The good always wins. No matter what, we will win this fight. And, again, you are the resistance. Dan Bidondi, hit me up at Twitter. And also follow me at truthradioshow.com. We'll see you soon. God bless.
The preceding program contained views, opinions, and thoughts that do not necessarily represent those of 990 WBOB, its management, or its staff. So now you know.
Defending liberty in the spirit of 1776. It's Dan Bidondi on TruthRadioShow.com.